Hey everyone, welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're diving right into a super playful and honestly beautifully structured little whodunit called Mango and the Case of the Missing Cookie. Now, on the surface, sure, it's a delightful story about an orange cat named Mango, but we're looking at this today because children's literature is actually brilliant at distilling the most complex parts of the human experience, things like loss, justice, and empathy, into their absolute purest forms. So beyond the cute exterior, this narrative serves as a fantastic explainer on how to build narrative stakes, how to execute an unexpected twist, and ultimately the profound psychological power of empathy over retribution. We're going to break down exactly how this simple story absolutely masters the architecture of a perfect narrative arc. All right, Section 1, the perfect cookie routine. This is where we establish Mango's ordinary world. Okay, let's dive into this and set our scene. You know, every great mystery starts by showing us the ordinary world before it gets totally turned upside down, right? And this story is incredibly effective at setting that baseline. Mango isn't just some cat who kind of likes treats. The source material is very specific here. Mango loved cookies more than anything in the world. So right out of the gate, the stakes are incredibly high for our protagonist. We learn that every single morning, Grandma gave him one special cookie. This isn't just a quick, mindless snack. It is a deeply ingrained daily ritual. Think about the sensory details of a routine like that. The familiar snap of the baked dough, the morning sunlight streaming through the kitchen window, the warmth of Grandma's presence. This sweet, comforting routine of connection is literally the foundation of Mango's daily life. It represents security, predictability, and love. When a character has a routine this flawless, it creates a massive sense of safety, which means the inevitable disruption is going to hit that much harder. Which brings us to Section 2, the great cookie crime. The routine is completely shattered. Because, as we know from any good mystery investigation, the comfort of the ordinary world just cannot last. The inciting incident is here. Mango approaches his usual spot, fully expecting the familiar warmth of his daily routine, but today, the cookie jar is empty. Just imagine the hollow echo of that empty ceramic jar. The text actually describes Mango letting out this heartbreaking meow as he realizes his beloved cookie has completely disappeared. His perfectly ordered universe is thrown into total chaos. The cognitive dissonance of expecting a guaranteed reward and finding absolutely nothing, it creates a visceral reaction. It's not just hunger, guys. It is a profound sense of betrayal and existential dread. His safe world has been compromised. So this leaves us, and Mango, with one glaring question. Where did the cookie go? I want you to put on your detective hats with me right now. We're gonna act as co-detectives in this mystery. We've got an empty jar, a missing cookie, and a highly motivated orange cat. What are the logical possibilities here? Was it an inside job, a sudden gust of wind, some bold intruder? The sheer absence of the cookie demands an explanation, and this massive unresolved tension is exactly what propels our protagonist into action. Moving into Section 3, Mango on the Case. Time for the active investigation. Look, Mango is definitely not going to just accept this loss. He doesn't just casually look around. He fully embodies the role of a tough investigator. He puts on a tiny detective hat, which honestly represents a massive psychological shift from a passive, comfortable pet to an active seeker of justice. He begins meticulously following a trail of cookie crumbs scattered around the house, and then he makes this solemn, dramatic vow. The cookie thief won't escape. He is driven by a powerful desire to restore order to his universe. He is determined, hardened, and officially on the hunt. Let's trace the timeline of his search across the house because it is intense. Minute 1, he's sweeping under the sofa. Minute 3, he's checking behind the curtains. Minute 5, he is digging inside the toy box. He is leaving absolutely no stone unturned here. The pacing of the narrative accelerates drastically in this sequence. You can literally feel the frantic, escalating energy of a detective racing against a ticking clock. Dust bunnies are flying everywhere, toys are getting tossed aside, because think about it, the longer the cookie is missing, the less likely it is to be recovered intact, right? That palpable tension drives the story forward at breakneck speed. And that leads us to Section 4, Catching the Little Culprit, the big discovery. The tension has been building and building. This frantic search was exhausting. So the crucial point is right here, as we reach the absolute peak of our suspense. After scouring every dark corner of the house, Mango finally makes his big discovery. But it's not some mastermind villain. It's not a terrifying intruder. It's a hungry little mouse caught red-handed carrying half a cookie. The visual contrast here is just striking. You have the puffed-up, tough detective cat looming over this trembling, minuscule mouse. The grand adversary Mango had built up in his head is just a frightened creature. The physical evidence is right there. Mango has his suspect, and he has the stolen property. Case closed, right? Well, the best narratives thrive on subverting our expectations. Listen to what the mouse says when confronted. I was so hungry. I only wanted a tiny bite. Let's just pause and sit with that for a second. The story completely pivots right here. The mouse isn't malicious at all. The mouse is just incredibly vulnerable and trying to survive. Suddenly, the rigid black and white world of a crime novel bleeds into the gray areas of real-world survival and empathy. What started as a strict case of a crime that demands punishment shifts into an unexpected, really delicate emotional moment. Mango is completely disarmed, and honestly, as the audience, we are too. Which brings us to Section 5, the sweetest treat of all, the final act. How our little detective handles this unexpected truth is what makes this narrative so incredibly heartwarming and resonant. Mango has a huge choice to make here between retributive justice and restorative justice. First, his heart melts. Then, instead of getting angry, instead of punishing the thief or forcefully taking back his remaining half of the cookie, he decides to share it. This is a radical move. Giving up half of your absolute most prized possession goes against every instinct, especially when you've just spent frantic minutes hunting it down. But he completely abandons his role as the tough, rigid detective and chooses connection over possession. It's a beautiful shift in the narrative, from crime and punishment straight to profound empathy. And the rewarding aftermath of that decision is immediate. When Grandma sees this act of kindness, she smiles and rewards them both with fresh cookies. Even better, from that day on, Mango and the little mouse become best friends. By choosing empathy, Mango didn't just resolve a conflict, he transformed it into a massive net positive. This perfectly illustrates the concept of a non-zero-sum game. The reward isn't just a replaced cookie, it's an elevated state of living. The choice to share multiplied the reward and created a lasting bond that far outweighs the temporary satisfaction of a solitary snack. Grandma witnesses this beautiful resolution and delivers a perfect piece of wisdom. Kindness makes every cookie sweeter. This quote holds the entire emotional weight of the story. It essentially redefines value for our protagonist, and for the audience too. It explains why the fresh cookies they get at the end are so much better than the one Mango lost at the very beginning. The flavor isn't just in the sugar, or the butter, or the baking process. The true flavor is in the shared experience and the compassion. The kindness acts as an emotional multiplier. When you share something, you don't lose half of it. You literally double its emotional resonance. Which brings us to our final takeaway. Sharing is the sweetest treat. This whole case wasn't really about a missing cookie at all, was it? It was a masterful explainer on empathy. It shows us that when our deeply ingrained routines are disrupted, pausing to understand the culprit or the cause of that disruption can lead to incredible, life-enhancing outcomes. So as we wrap up today's analysis, I want to leave you with this thought to carry into your own week. When you encounter an unexpected disruption in your own routine, how are you going to handle it? Will you play the rigid detective, or will you pause to understand? What cookies in your own life could you be sharing today to make someone else's life just a little bit sweeter? Thanks so much for joining me on The Explainer, and keep learning.